Good evening. I'd like to share a few thoughts this evening on Christmas Eve of 2022, the holy night in which we are waiting with expectations of the birth of the Christ child. Now, I think probably for more children in particular, they're waiting this night for the arrival of Santa Claus. And I suppose there are those who think Santa Claus and Jesus are both myths, made up persons. Well, for myself, Christmas Eve has always been a very special and holy night. One of my earliest memories was going to a Christmas Eve service with my father. My sisters were really too young to be interested, and my older brother never had an interest in church. So Mom stayed home with the other kids, and I got to go to church with my father. That in itself was a special time, because my father worked a lot, so we often wouldn't see him during the week. So to have him all to myself was certainly a treat. But the state, Christmas Eve, it's just always been a special time. And I've always had this, as long as I can remember, this relationship with Jesus. And to go to Christmas Eve service and to celebrate and to anticipate the birth. It's just a simply special time. And I struggled with this kind of cognitive dissonance about Christmas, between the commercialization of it and the spiritual, religious understanding of Christmas. When I suppose as I've gotten older, I've come to understand there's two different Christmases. There's the one where we celebrate the birth of Christ, and then the more secular one, which has to do with capitalism and profits. And that's all right. That's all right today. But when I was in high school, I really struggled with this. And so I like to share a poem I wrote. It's probably in high school. I recently discovered the Christmas party. The night was dark and so cold. The snow on the ground was so deep, and still it was falling from the sky. But no one cared this particular night. It could snow and snow the entire night, for this was the night before Christmas. I arrived at the house, lit up so bright with lights of red and green and blue. On the roof was a sleigh and reindeer. In it, the two-dimensional Santa Claus. In the window, I could see the tree, lit up with lights on top of a star. I must have been standing there for hours, just staring at the decorated house, but couldn't get the courage to ring the bell until I looked upward to the east and saw the star shining through the clouds. I smiled, then turned and rang the bell. Hi, how are you? Glad you made it. Come on in. Let me take your coat. Have a drink. There's lots more where that came from. Man, this is a wild party. I can't wait till they give out the gifts. Hey, what's wrong with you, man? I was just wondering how I would feel if someone gave me a party on my birthday and then forgot to invite me. I still often wonder that. How often we forget about the meaning of Christmas. But as I said, I've come to understand the two different Christmases. And tonight, I want to remember the birth of the Christ child. And that love has always been born in the world. And that Jesus came to remind us the depth of God's love. And so I'd like to close my reflection here with a different poem by a better writer than I, Madeline Lingle. This is no time for a child to be born, with the earth betrayed by wars and hate, and comets slashing the sky to warn that time runs out and the sun burns late. That was no time for a child to be born, in the land in the crushing grip of Rome. Honor and truth were trampled by scorn, yet here did the Savior make his home. When is the time for love to be born? The inn is full on the planet Earth, and by a comet the sky is torn. Yet love still takes the risk of birth. May you have a blessed Christmas Eve and a wonderful Christmas. And I'll have more to say on Christmas morning. Amen.